It's a positive step forward. As I mentioned at the outset, the Department of Justice in particular is reviewing this in terms of both its implementation and its impact. So I don't want to get too far ahead of all of these brilliant legal minds as they review the impact. But I think, as I noted, I think the President feels he's very, very pleased with the 9-0 decision. They're looking at the totality of it. So I think part of it, as I mentioned to Blake a second ago, will be dependent on what the lawyers believe its impact will be in terms of how it goes forward and what we can do. So I'm going to punt on that for a moment and let the lawyers take a look at that and give an update. The statement that he made in January is consistent with what he said the other day, which is that he believes that Russia probably was involved, potentially some other countries as well could have been equally involved, or could have been involved, not equally. And he stands by the statements that he made in January. One is, if you believe the story that was written, that means from August through November 8th, two things. One, that if you believe that, then they did know about this, and there's some serious questions about what they did or did not do in terms of acting. And the second is, I think it's then pretty clear that they knew all along that there was no collusion, and that's very helpful for the President. But as to the point of what he's doing, that continues to be what I mentioned the other day. He signed an executive order on cybersecurity to strengthen our ability to combat anybody from interfering, not just in our elections, but in a lot of our key infrastructure, cyber infrastructure. And secondly, he's got a commission that will continue to have more activities this month, looking holistically at the election process to make sure that we're taking all the steps to protect the integrity of our voting systems. Obviously, I don't have all the understanding of what they knew and when they knew it, but there does seem to be a bit of hypocrisy in terms of what they didn't clearly do if they truly believed all of this was happening. But they, as I mentioned to Kristen just a second ago, I think what's also important to note is that if they did know all this, then they clearly do know that there was no collusion. If they've been very clear, they've been playing this card about blaming Trump and Russia, and yet at the same time, they were the ones who, according to this report, knew about it and didn't take any action. So the question is, if they didn't take any action, does that make them complicit? I think that there is a lot of questions that have to get answered about who did know what and when.